All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to This Week in Army Football. We are about to go live on the radio. When we come back from a commercial break, we'll give you a countdown.
And a very good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in Army Football, here with you on a Wednesday night at a little bit later time. Army heading out to Air Force on Saturday. First step in the Commander-in-Chief's trophy race for the Black Knights. Air Force defeated Navy last month, so it'll be the end of the road for Air Force in its quest for the CIC. Army, meanwhile, getting its road started. Here with you from 7:30 until 8:30 due to the practice schedule for the Army football team. We're lucky to have right off the practice field the head coach of the Black Knights, Jeff Monken. Jeff, welcome to the show, and got to make sure you got that practice in. Everything is set on a Wednesday night as these guys will be wheels up tomorrow.
Yes, Rich, I appreciate you guys changing the schedule for us and allow us to come on at 7:30. And I was going to have to be late, and I was a little worried about it, and I know you were a little bit worried about it, but what was priority was having our team prepared and getting the meeting time we needed, getting the walkthrough time we needed, and certainly the practice time that we needed. So I literally left the practice field about 7:11 or 12 and ran over there and got ready to get here on the radio show with you. I'm glad to be here and sure excited about this game coming up.
So the next chapter Saturday will be in the longest uninterrupted intersectional rivalry in college football. Goes all the way back in consecutive games to 1972, Army and Air Force. And Jeff, there's a lot of emotion going into this game. First time, actually really a neutral site for the third straight year,
yes.
Be it in Power Field at Mile High in Denver, a bit down the road from Colorado Springs. How do you feel heading into this one?
Well, I'm excited about it, and our team is too. And you can't help but get excited to play for a championship right in the middle of the season, and there's not too many teams that have an opportunity to do that. Really just these three academies fighting for this trophy. And our guys are going to give it everything they got. They do every time we play these games, and Air Force got a good football team. It's going to take a great effort on our part to beat them, but our guys are excited. They've been preparing well, and we're looking forward to the trip.
Jeff, you've stressed the last couple of weeks fundamentals, doing those little things. I know some of this is a work in progress. Where do you feel your team is at with this week's preparation?
Our guys have practiced hard, and they've really focused, and our coaches have tried to give them a plan that they can execute in terms of assignments flawlessly. We can't miss assignments and give freebies away to Air Force. We've got to make them earn it, and that's done by each guy on the field, all 11 guys playing their assignment, their individual assignments, so everything comes together. We play together. They play really hard, play physical, and that's how the game is won. And their team does a good job of that, and hopefully our team will do a good job of that on Saturday, and we'll just go blow for blow and may the best team win.
It's interesting when you look at matchups, look at depth charts, you look at maybe the size differentials, talent levels. You talk Army, Air Force, and Navy. A lot of these schools going after the same kind of players. The one thing, though, the one difference maker seems to be experience. And when you look at the Air Force roster through different reasons, they have, 18 or 19 of the 22 starters are seniors, many with more than 4 years in the program. And I guess my question to you, Jeff, is, and we talked about it last week, right? When you go freshman, when you have Champ Harris in the game from center all the way to tailback, how do you go about equalizing that? Because that's an advantage that is hard when you look at it to be able to make up on sheer talent.
Well, give them credit. They've got guys that have stuck in the program and have made it here to their senior year, and they've got a bunch of them all playing at the same time. And typically, teams that are that experienced and have been in the program, and not through transfer portal, but actually developed and grown up through the program. Those teams are usually pretty good, and nobody in college football looks like that anymore because of the transfer portal. They might have a bunch of seniors, but they've all come from different places, and the academies, because just the way we're natured, the guys grow up in our program, and they are developmental programs. So we've got several guys that are playing as seniors, but we got some young guys too, and so just trying to prepare those guys and give them the tools that they need fundamentally, really working hard so that they know their assignments, and getting them to play really hard. And those freshmen that you mentioned, particularly Brady Small, who's playing the whole year. He started every game, and I think he's really doing a great job. He's going to get better, but playing very much like a veteran at this point. He went through our prep school program last year, though in a different system. He's developed. Kanye Udo is a very talented running back, and he also played in the prep school program a year ago. Though be it in a different system, I think he's really hitting his stride, and he's improving each year, or each game throughout the year. Champ Harris is just a talented guy. That's a really hard position to play as a freshman. He's done some outstanding things. He's made some freshman mistakes. So the more he plays, I know the fewer mistakes he'll make, and if he plays on Saturday, hopefully he'll play even better than he has throughout the year.
Yeah, and Jeff, where do you stand on the quarterback position? Champ Harris got his second straight start this past Saturday against UMass. We also saw Bryson Daly, and then Champ a little bit later on in the game. Where do you stand at that position?
All of our quarterbacks are healthy, and so we expect to have Bryson going into the game and Champ going into the game, Larry Robinson. All those guys are healthy. So Dwayne Coleman, Cale Helms, we got a bunch of guys there at that position. Some very young. The 5 guys I mentioned, 3 of them are freshmen. So, but I'm glad we got those guys healthy, and we've got access to all of them.
Army football coming up on Saturday. Black Knights on the road at Air Force. 2:30 Eastern time kick. Airtime across the Army Sports Network at 12:30 p.m. The game at Empower Field at Mile High in Denver, home of the NFL's Denver Broncos. That must be a great experience. We talk about Army-Navy games at NFL stadiums. Last couple of years, your team has faced off against Air Force down at the home of the Texas Rangers, which is hosting the World Series right now.
Yes.
The game on Saturday would be in jeopardy if there was a Game 7. That's interesting if they had still gone back there this year. How do you feel about going out to Empower Field?
It's a great experience for our team, for our players, to be able to play in an NFL stadium. I'm excited for them. That's something that is really unique here. Playing at West Point is the opportunity to play in stadiums like that, and throughout the career of our players. Obviously, the Army-Navy game, playing in 4 different NFL stadiums over the next 4 years. So for our freshmen, this is an opportunity for them to play in a 5th NFL stadium. Pretty neat experience. So we're looking forward to it, and it's be my first time there. So. I'm kind of excited myself.
That should be a lot of fun. Army and Air Force coming up on Saturday. We're here with you at the Cadet First Class Club until 8:30 tonight, taking your questions. Like to welcome in the 3rd member of our broadcast crew. Corey is back. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Rich. How's it going, Coach?
Good to see you.
Exciting weekend ahead.
Yep.
As Rich said, for our YouTube and Facebook Live watchers, we shifted the show because Coach is quite literally dying to answer your questions. So please drop them in the comments and let's get them answered.
And Jeff, before we move on to our next segment, and really breaking in the last hour, some sad news in the basketball world, Army West Point world. Bob Knight, the Hall of Fame coach who coached at West Point before winning 3 national championships at Indiana, then moving on to Texas Tech, passing away at the age of 83. Truly a one-of-a-kind and a legend.
He's a one-of-a-kind for sure, and just a legendary basketball coach, and a guy that really cut his teeth here at West Point. And I think probably the toughness that he coached with, and the kind of the personality of his teams, probably we're a lot like his teams here, and perhaps maybe he developed some of that philosophy while he was here. Interestingly enough, Coach Krzyzewski played for Coach Knight here.
That's right.
At West Point, and so there's 2 legendary basketball coaches that were here at the same time.
So Bob Knight passing away at the age of 83, an Army Sports Hall of Famer. So thoughts and prayers with Bob Knight's family, but really a celebration on what's just a tremendous Hall of Fame career Bob Knight had, which had a lot of roots here at West Point. Next up, our trivia contest. Everyone signs up, the new addition to This Week in Army Football. Scan the QR code on your screen now. Enter for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Army Coastal Carolina game on November 18th at noon at Mikey Stadium. Each question has a new QR code. Remember, please scan the code each time so your answers can be recorded properly. We'd like to announce last week's winner Caitlin Tideman.
Nice.
So congratulations
Good job, Caitlin.
to Caitlin. We look forward to seeing you at the Coastal Carolina game coming up in November. Now, your chance to test your Army football knowledge. Scan this QR code. Enter your answers. Fastest answer will win. Here's the question number 1 for today's episode. Who was re-elected President of the United States 3 days after Army defeated number 19 Air Force on November 4th, 1972?
Well, 1972 should give it away.
I've been to the presidential library of this president.
Yep.
Very nice one. Out in California. That's a little hint. So, again, who was re-elected president 3 days after Army defeated number 19 Air Force, November 4th, 1972. Well, coming up next on This Week in Army Football, our special guest, and just from former players to folks who help out and play a big part in your program, how about your head officer representative, West Point class of 1990, Colonel John Baskerville?
He's fantastic, and I'm so glad he's part of our team. He actually has a son who's on our football team, which is really interesting. That's kind of a first for us, having a father-son combination here in the program. But Colonel Baskerville does a great job and really supports our players, and that position is critical to the success of our guys. Just the help that they get, whether it be academically, branching, summer training, all of the things that our OREP touches, and then the leadership he provides for our other officer representatives that help our team.
Colonel John Baskerville. He's up next on This Week in Army Football when we come back here at the Cadet First Class Club right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Great opportunities provide the pages for great stories. Yeah. We got ourselves a great opportunity. Pour everything into each other, into doing your job, and to following the plan, and the story will write itself. Let's go get it to fight. Come on. It's always been us, never them. It's us. It's us. We put in work, we put in plan, because it's us. Different. Great fundamentals, great effort. Let's see what a bunch of warriors we got in here. And you show them who we are. We don't need anything else. We got each other. Let's go.
The pass caught. Lingenfelter all held it on by his shoulder pad.
Reynolds got it. How about Casey Reynolds?
Bailey rolls to his right, and as he throws, heaves it downfield with a jumping catch made at the 15-yard line by Noah Short.
White fake, passing, touchdown, Tyson Riley.
Throws on the run, intercepted down the right side.
And Army able to move the chains, and Reed escapes to the outside. Daly directs that. Daly the move. Daly the end zone. Screen pass on first down. It's caught by Johnson. He'll throw it downfield.
Hand off to Tyrell Robinson straight ahead to the 5. He goes in for the touchdown.
At the United States Military Academy, you're on the team from day one.
A team where people are the #1 priority and winning matters.
A team of scholars, athletes, and leaders, each striving to become all that they can be.
Are you ready to join our team? West Point,
where leaders are made.
4, 3.
And welcome back to the show this week in Army football. Black Knights taking on Air Force coming up on Saturday. And you heard that howl, that cheer as we came back. General Steve Gillen, the superintendent here at West Point.
Always here, loyal. He's here every week.
Loyal folks here at the Cadet First Class Club and watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments section of Facebook Live. We will get to as many as we can before the end of the night. And Eisenhower Hall Theater at West Point back with a full season of entertainment. Enjoy Broadway musicals, plays, family-friendly shows for the little ones, and live concerts. Visit iCall.com. Save up to 20% with a season subscription. Get your tickets now, iCall.com. That's iCall.com. Time now for our special guest and a classmate of General Gillen's, West Point class of 1990, the head officer representative for the Army football team, Colonel John Baskerville. Welcome back. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
So,
glad to be here.
Jeff, we talked earlier that Colonel Baskerville would be on, and someone who is such a big part of what you're accomplishing and then trying to accomplish here at West Point.
Well, there's no doubt, and our officer representatives and the leadership that Colonel Baskerville has to take, and really getting each one of those men and women that support our team as OREPs to work with the different positions, work with certain individuals, whether, as I said, from the academic side, the military side, and it's from our plebes, the freshmen who are here, their first experience at West Point, trying to navigate all of the things that go on in the classroom, in their companies, the summer training, the cadet basic training, all the way up to our firsties who are getting ready to graduate, to pick their branch, to kind of know what that's going to look like when their feet are on the ground and they're in that job. Guys in between, selecting majors and really guiding them and helping them on their path through West Point. So they are such an important part of our program, and they're qualified to do things that I'm not qualified to do, and to counsel them in ways and give them advice that I don't have any expertise in. So really an incredible job, and I'm so glad that we have them. It's very unique to have that. There are no other college programs that have a leadership team of professors and administrators that take that interest in the student athletes from a completely different perspective.
So, Colonel Baskerville, that's some lead-in by Jeff Monken. So, in your words, what do you do with the Army football team?
Well, if we think about the officer representative role, the officer representative is the superintendent's representative with the team, or the institutional representative with the team. And really we're thinking about, as Coach Monken was talking about, integrating this athletic experience that the cadets have into all of the other pillars of development they have here at the academy: the academic, the military, physical, and thinking about character. So one way to think about that is thinking about the same things they do to achieve excellence on the football field and as athletes are the attributes and the types of behaviors and habits of mind that we need them to implement and use in those other pillars. And they're the same things that lead to success in those other pillars. So as I think about attributes that we need on the field from our athletes, the attention to detail, focus, teamwork, toughness, resilience, those are all the same attributes we need to achieve excellence in those other pillars and as young leaders. So that's really how we think about it. And lastly, as Coach Monken was talking about, we have a team of officer representatives. And I've got a team.
And you're their coach.
You could think of it like that. And a team from across different directorates at the academy, across different branches and experiences. So they serve as role models and mentors to the cadets, from everything from branching to thinking about their academics to just thinking about basic leadership and what they need to do, and if they're running into any kind of adversity, helping them think through how they get out of that and move forward from that.
Colonel Baskerville, and I could just feel the passion sitting next to you. What motivated you to get involved in the officer representative program, and now this, very visible and a job with a lot of responsibilities with this Army football team?
It's all the extra pay. I mean, just. Well,
flowing in.
I say that
flowing in.
He gets no extra pay for this. A lot of extra time with no extra pay. So
what's the motivation to get involved?
Well, I grew up playing sports personally, and it was such an important part of my life and my development and how I think about things. And then at the academy, when I was here as a cadet, I played sprint football, which we called 150s football, or lightweight football back then. And
we have the legend Dan McCarthy here
yes,
tonight.
We do.
Right? We have the legend, right? Yeah, exactly.
Teammate. And
exactly.
Right.
Look at he has his own cheering section.
He does.
And so coming back to the academy, it's always been important to me to be involved in the officer representative program. And I've worked with a couple of teams here. And I just think it's a special way to have that type of cadet development and have that reach to cadets outside of the classroom where they're pulling some things together that are different and looking at a leadership pathway that's a little bit different than some of the other cadets are experiencing, but very important and very impactful. So I thought that was a great way to be able to impact cadets and to help the institution and individual cadets.
And Jeff, you can feel that passion. You must see that when, Colonel's interacting with cadets, with you guys.
I do, and as I said, there is no extra pay for this. It is completely voluntary, and it's because Colonel Baskerville, our team of O-Reps, they care about our players, they care about our cadets, and they want to see them succeed. And they know that they can provide a service to them that the coaches can't. They can do things for them and help them in ways that we're not qualified to help them. And so to have people that care so deeply about this place, about our program, about the cadets that are here, really incredible. And I've been here now in my 10th season, and it's just been remarkable over the years how many of our faculty and staff, our TACs, have volunteered to assist our players and be a part of our OREP program here.
What is it like, Colonel, working with Jeff Monken?
Look, it's this is an incredible opportunity, and like I said, I enjoy it, and it's great to work with Coach Monken, who's put together a program that really understands the ethos and the culture of the academy and what we're trying to do here. So whether we're talking about pursuing, demonstrating excellence in general in what you do, or we're talking about enforcing, holding others accountable for, and striving to attain high standards, whether that's military-type standards or standards on the field. Those are the things that Coach Monken enforces and brings to the table. And also as think about being a great team members and teamwork. One of the things we really try to instill in cadets is their ability to build and lead cohesive teams. Coach Monken really emphasizes and reiterates to the cadets how important it is that they're great teammates, not only when they're up on the field, on Saturdays when they're competing, but when they're in their company areas, when they're in the classroom, when they're out in their military training. They should carry over that idea of being a great teammate and working to build those teams. And finally, as I mentioned before, the attributes of leadership that I see that on the field every day and in practices and in games, that toughness, that grit, that resilience, that ability to face adversity and come back as a team. Those are the types of things that Coach Monken is all about and brings to the fore for us. And so those things are great and it's important. And I love this academy and what we stand for. And he's done the right things to really bring that together for us.
And Colonel Baskerville, your family's so rooted at West Point. Your wife Shalisa working at the Association of Graduates, also an Army football father. How does that feel?
I'm proud to be an Army football father. It feels great to watch my son go out there and be a part of this great program. And he's a scout team player now, so he's out there trying to make a play, trying to find his way, integrate with the team. But I think he's really enjoying it. I'm watching him grow and mature through the program, so I couldn't be more proud of it.
You just feel the pride.
No doubt.
This is a great spot. You can just feel what this means to Colonel Baskerville. I mean, enough of what he does for your team. You're getting a lot out of this.
Yeah, yes, no, absolutely.
Last question, how good was Dan McCarthy? I'll give you 15 seconds. Is Dan in here? I need like a little top line of Dan McCarthy's career.
Dan McCarthy's a legendary sprint football
So Dan,
player.
our deputy athletic director, who is a huge supporter of Army football, of course, athletics. So superstar, right?
Yes, he was absolutely a superstar. Superstar on and off the field. I believe he was a regimental commander, so he represented leadership in the Corps and on the field.
Yep.
But in all honesty, Dan and I have known each other for years through sprint football, through our service in the military and back here at the academy. He is a great person to represent the academy, and he's represented excellence and dedication all the way through since the first day I've met him. So
Great.
Proud to serve alongside Dan, absolutely.
Colonel Baskerville, we appreciate your time here on This Week in Army Football. Thanks so much, seriously, for coming by. It's really awesome to hear what you do and how much it means to you. I don't know if there's someone we've had on that's been able to exude that as well as you have, so thank you.
All right, well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you having me on.
Colonel John Baskerville joining us here on This Week in Army Football, Army Football's head officer representative. Before we step away, though, I'll have Colonel Baskerville up for this one. See if he wants to give it a stab, or at least in his mind give it a stab.
We can't give it away.
Okay, so on to question 2 of our trivia challenge. 2 years ago, Army defeated Air Force in the first ever overtime game in the series, 21-14. Who broke up Hazik Daniels' potential game-tying touchdown pass to seal the Army victory? One of the great moments of the last several years.
Yep.
You can't guess, but you can think about it.
Can't say
it, right?
They're out there. They're out there in radio land. They're trying to win tickets. So
we're trying.
I almost gave it away a couple weeks ago.
I do think
I screwed that up, but I know who that is.
Okay, so we all know, but do you know, watching and listening, scan the QR code, get your question, and when we come back, your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken here on This Week in Army Football. You're listening to Army Football right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
So yeah, USAA, they always have my back.
USAA? You were in the military?
Oh no, I wasn't, but my grandpa was. He joined USAA, passed membership to my mom, then to me.
There's other ways to get in?
Yeah, my neighbor Ron, he's in because his wife served. Even little Luna, once she's born, her dad served.
So all this time I could have had USAA insurance.
And banking.
Where's my phone?
Over there.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
General Gilland, from an academy standpoint, what does it mean to be aligned with the fellow institutions in the American Athletic Conference?
Well, Rich, I think there are a number of considerations. As you look at the AAC, there's 3 of the schools or member institutions belong to the Association of American Universities, which is a select group of universities from around the nation and 2 from Canada that are invited into that organization specifically. There are over a half dozen Carnegie Mellon R1 research institutions that belong to the AAC. So when we think through outside of football, we also look at what's the fit. And that is, from an academic perspective, we see that as a fit. I would also include as an additional consideration is the geography, which was mentioned previously. When we look at the location of the institutions spanning from Texas and eastward, one, we've got a lot of graduates that reside in the states that the institutions reside in, but we also have a lot of Army fans through the Army team. And you think of Army installations that are located in several of the locations aligned. I'd say we look at this through the lens of it's not just a recruiting opportunity for the United States Military Academy, it's also a recruiting opportunity for our Army. As we get out there, there's a number of different markets that allows us to get in and identify young men and women who are great candidates, talent that that have the desire to serve our nation, and to be able to get into those markets. They see us, they see what we are about as an academy, but also as the Army, and then we can present the opportunities that exist not only here but within our Army to draw them in even more and really create some synergy across the southeast region into the southern Midwest region in order to identify talent to come here and serve. And it's not just to play football, but to be a member of the Corps of Cadets.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
Ready in 5, 4, 3.
Army football brought to you by West Point Family at MWR. FMWR offers horseboarding, golfing, skiing, catering, camping, and many more activities and programs. Visit westpoint.armymwr.com for more information. What a great spot with Colonel John Baskerville, head officer representative, West Point class of 1990. Jeff, that was great.
It was.
That was tremendous.
Well, it's fun to have one of our players' dads on the show. It's pretty cool.
A couple ways you could look at that spot.
Yep.
So awesome hearing from Colonel Baskerville. Army and Air Force coming up on Saturday, 2:30 Eastern Time kick from Empower Field at Mile High in Denver. Airtime across the Army Sports Network at 12:30 with the Army Football Tailgate Show live from the stadium. Time now for your turn. Questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken and Corey on the wireless mic.
No Jerry tonight, sadly.
Oh,
So we're going to kick it off with this good question from Austin DeMarco. He said, does the team prepare differently when going to Air Force between the altitude and the time change?
No, I don't think that you can really prepare for it. And frankly, we've been out there, I guess this will be maybe the 4th time out there, Rich, that we've gone out there since I've been here. But we're not, I know you got them counted up.
So this will be the 4th time we're in Denver.
In Colorado.
We're in Colorado. And then the 5th road game there was the game 2 years ago.
That's right.
in Arlington.
But I will tell you that I don't think the altitude has affected the way we've played or affected our guys' ability to be able to play well, play hard. We don't make a big deal about it. We do some things nutritionally, hydration, to get them prepared for the trip and for the altitude. But other than that, not really. The sleep cycle, it's hard to change that sleep cycle in just a day or two, but we do go out on Thursday for this game, thanks to Mike Buddy, our athletics director, that allows us to be able to do that and just get settled in and really focus on the game. This is obviously one of the biggest games of the year, certainly the biggest game to this point. And so having an extra day, I think, is really valuable for us. So we'll take off tomorrow.
And you look at the last couple of times in Colorado, of course, 17 was as dominating of a performance as we've seen for 60 minutes in Army football since I've been here. And then 2019, a game where you're going through a couple different quarterbacks there, and it goes right down to the wire, that game. So definitely in store for a good one coming up on Saturday, Army and Air Force. Next question for Coach Monken.
So this one is from Anthony John. He just said, kind of along the lines of going through history with what you just said, Rich, what's your favorite Army Air Force memory?
I think the 21-0 game. That was in 2017. We hadn't beaten them since I had been the coach. We lost in 14 here at home, 15 out there, 16 again here at home, and then finally 17 broke the glass, I guess, and just a really great performance by our football team. The thing I remember most about that game was the few possessions that we had. We actually had the ball 7 times in the game, but one of those possessions was at the end of the first half when we took a knee. and one of those possessions was at the end of the game, and we took a knee. So we really had 5 possessions on the game, and we scored 3 touchdowns. We missed a field goal and got stopped on 4th down. Those were the 5 drives. But our offense and the way that they controlled the ball and were able to run the football, that was a great memory, and really just, I think, a big turning point for our program.
You look at the score of these games. Jeff, I asked you in the press conference on Tuesday about this. Why so low scoring? It's almost like, and I know there's people that follow over-unders, these kinds of things, but points are at a premium every single one of these academy games that your team seems to be involved in.
They are, and it just seems like every single academy game is like that. Our games with Air Force, our games with Navy, their games with each other. Earlier in the season, 2 weeks ago, Navy and Air Force played, and it was just a slugfest. Air Force hit a long pass, 94 yards for a touchdown. They had a pick 6 and kicked a field goal. And I mean, and they're a team that's been able to go up and down the field against their opponents and running the football. And it's just, our teams know each other so well. And the intensity of these games, guys blocking and playing blocks, and just the rugged nature of these games, I think, lends itself to really close football games and oftentimes low-scoring football games. So they just all seem to be that way, and hopefully we'll have a good, tough slugfest on Saturday, and we'll find a way to come out on top.
Army and Air Force, Saturday afternoon from Denver. More of This Week in Army Football coming up in just a moment right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
So yeah, USAA, they always have my back.
USAA? You were in the military?
Oh no, I wasn't, but my grandpa was. He joined USAA, passed membership to my mom, then to me.
There's other ways to get in?
Yeah. My neighbor Ron, he's in because his wife served. Even little Luna, once she's born, her dad served.
So all this time I could have had USAA insurance.
And banking.
Where's my phone?
Over there.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
General Gilland, from an academy standpoint, what does it mean to be aligned with the fellow institutions in the American Athletic Conference?
Well, Rich, I think there are a number of considerations. As you look at the AAC, there's 3 of the schools or member institutions belong to the Association of American Universities, which is a select group of universities from around the nation and 2 from Canada that are invited into that organization specifically. There are over a half dozen Carnegie Mellon R1 research institutions that belong to the AAC. So when we think through outside of football, we also look at what's the fit. And that is, from an academic perspective, we see that as a fit. I would also include as an additional consideration is the geography, which was mentioned previously. When we look at the location of the institutions spanning from Texas and eastward, one, we've got a lot of graduates that reside in the states that the institutions reside in, but we also have a lot of Army fans through the Army team. And you think of Army installations that are located in several of the locations aligned. I'd say we look at this through the lens of it's not just a recruiting opportunity for the United States Military Academy, it's also a recruiting opportunity for our Army. As we get out there, there's a number of different markets that allows us to get in and identify young men and women who are great candidates, talent that that have the desire to serve our nation, and to be able to get into those markets. They see us, they see what we are about as an academy, but also as the Army, and then we can present the opportunities that exist not only here but within our Army to draw them in even more and really create some synergy across the southeast region into the southern Midwest region in order to identify talent to come here and serve. And it's not just to play football, but to be a member of the Corps of Cadets.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
Okay, behind on a couple things we got to catch up on. Army West Point Athletics would like to thank its restaurant and tavern partners, Brothers Barbecue and O'Toole's Pub. Check out the restaurant and tavern partners portion of GoArmyWestPoint.com for more information. Support those who support the core. Trivia question. Third trivia question of the night. Scan the QR code. Army has played Air Force 6 times on November 4th. This will be the 7th time. What is Army's all-time record on this date?
On November the 4th.
I don't know that. I'll just tell you that much. And right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification across the Army Sports Network from your phone. So, Jeff, when we start on 30, we pass the top of the hour, and FCC regulations, you have to identify the station.
That's great. I enjoy listening to that station identification.
Just wanted to let you know that's kind of how we roll.
It's first time.
First time, yes. You're starting 7:30 to 8:30. We'll be back in the 7 o'clock spot next Thursday to preview Army against Holy Cross as the Black Knights back home, back-to-back home games to finish up the regular part of the season. Of course, the final regular season game coming up on December 9th against Navy. Corey, time now for more questions for the Army head coach.
All right, Coach. You talked a little bit earlier on, this being the biggest game of our season to date. So Shannon Wallen asked, how important is it to keep the team level-headed with the CIC trophy on the line?
Well, execution wins the game. Emotion doesn't win the game. So what we've got to do is get our guys to play their assignments, play well fundamentally, play really hard, but do their job. And that's how the game is won. And so really that's our focus. We don't have to have any pep talks or anything like that. They're going to be excited about playing the game, but what we've got to do is play it well. And so hopefully we'll do that. That'll give us the best chance to win.
Turnover, and I'll tell you, in a game where points have been at a premium, it's penalties, turnovers, special teams. Those are the things that have decided Army Air Force.
That's a fact, and they decide most games. It is the turnover battle is something you got to win if you want to win the football game. You give yourself a much better chance to win a football game if you win the turnover battle. And we've struggled with that some this year, Rich. You and I have talked about that, but running the football and stopping the run. The foolish penalties, missed assignments, things that we can control. We've got to do a good job of that. And teams that win, they do a good job of that. So there's a lot on the line, but we've got to do the things we can control to give ourselves the best chance to win and hope we perform well. And I'm excited about it.
And as we talked about earlier, this is the longest uninterrupted intersectional rivalry in college football.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't realize that.
It used to be, there's the team in Annapolis, Navy, and Notre Dame would brag on that, right?
Yes.
But that wasn't played during 2020.
Right.
Notre Dame and USC wasn't played in 2020.
Yes.
So now it's Army and Air Force.
There you go.
Can stake that claim. We can say it in our game notes and all of our communications each and every year. Longest uninterrupted intersectional rivalry in college football. Next question for head coach Jeff Monken.
A short and sweet one from Kieran Morris. He said, any injury updates?
Well, not that I would report them anyway, but we are in pretty good health. We've got a few guys that are banged up, got hurt in the last game. Some of those guys are back, and some of them aren't. But I'm not going to reveal that. But at this point in the season, for where we are, I think we're in pretty good health.
Final question on tonight's trivia challenge before we head into break. With Army and Air Force being played at Mile High, this marks, which actually the 4th time this rivalry has been played on an NFL field. When was the last time, and in what stadium was it played?
That's an interesting question. All right.
And there's one that actually is, that's why I said 4th.
I got to guess.
I'll give you one that this isn't the answer, but one was when it was played at Yankee Stadium. That was the Giants' home field. So that's like the 4th. That's why it might say 3 on the screen, but that's the 4th. But when was the last time it was played in an actual NFL stadium?
Okay, that's a good question.
When we come back, one more round of questions, trivia answers, and all that. Army and Air Force coming up on Saturday. We're here on This Week in Army Football, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Commissioner Oresco, what made Army the right choice for the American Athletic Conference?
Well, first of all, Army's a storied program, and it's an iconic program. But it's also, again, as I said, it's one of our military academies, and to have the players and the coaches in our conference and the administrators associated with this great institution is just terrific. But Army is very competitive, and this conference has a competitive DNA. From the day we started, essentially 11 years ago, we were challenging, and we were not willing to be mediocre in any way. And Coach Monken mentioned, we've been on New Year's Day 8 of 10 years, and we've competed, and we've won 4 of those games. Should have won 5. And I still that Cincinnati, Georgia game still hurts. But in any event, the point is, we know Army is a terrific program. It's a very competitive program, but it fits our cultural values too in this conference. As General Gillen said, we have some institutions that are not only R1, but we have AAU schools, and we take our academic mission very seriously. We in every way it's a really good fit, and Army has a national brand. How can we help Army? Well, first of all, I think the exposure for the away home games, at least initially in the first several years, while you still have the CBS Sports Network contract, you get that ESPN exposure and ESPN promotion. And ESPN on SportsCenter today talked about Army joining, and I think that's valuable, and I think we can help in that regard. But we also have created a national brand for the conference, and I think that will benefit Army, and I think the competition will benefit Army, and the fact that Army now has a path to the playoff and a conference where if you win our conference, you've got a really good shot to make it. And I think that will be valuable. I also think in the end, scheduling certainty and getting to see these teams, going to places where I think the fans are going to be excited and our teams are going to be excited. These are good schools. These are really competitive teams. I think it will serve Army well. So I think all around we're very happy and thrilled that you're in the conference.
Hey, Rich, let's be clear, though. We're here to win, all right? And I know Coach, he's humble. But I know that there's going to be a conference championship sign that's put up there when you talk about goals every season for this team. And it'll be that way every season that Coach Monken is in. And winning matters. And it's not just going in to compete. It's going in to win and win a conference championship. And that's the goal. Just as we put the Commander-in-Chief Trophy as a goal every single year.
Army, 5 national championships, 9 Commander-in-Chief's Trophy championships, and soon a conference championship.
on This Week in Army Football, Army and Air Force. So, Jeff, team getting out of town tomorrow. So, any special food arrangements?
You know, I'm a huge fan of Culver's. So a lot of people don't recognize that. If you're from the Midwest, especially Wisconsin. You Wisconsin? Minnesota? One of those? Wisconsin. That guy knows. So Culver's is like, it is the best fast food restaurant in the world. I mean,
I got to go there now. I've never been. I wouldn't know.
Their hamburgers are not called hamburgers. They're called butter burgers because they fry them on the flat top in butter. And smash them down and get the crispy edges. And, you know, there's bacon and on all the sandwich and cheese. And then for a side item, you can get French fries, which is for rookies.
What do you get?
Cheese curds. Fried cheese curds. Of course. And every once in a while, they have this thing called the Curder Burger. And it's like a mad rush to every Culver's that's serving these things. So they make a hamburger-sized cheese curd that they put on there instead of the cheese for the cheeseburger. So you got a Curder Burger. So we're going to have that when we arrive.
Nice. I'm going to have to go
which
find
I'm looking
one.
forward to.
That's
Beyond that, I don't know. But I am kind of looking forward to that.
Well, that's enough.
So my man over here, we got a cadet over here from Wisconsin. I don't know his name, but he knows. He knows what I'm talking about.
Were these vacations as a kid? When did this love begin?
Yes. And not ice cream, but custard. So there's a difference. But they have these. They have the flavor of the day. So they mix the custard and all these toppings, and and then they have a concrete mixer, which they take the custard and they mix things in. Rich. Let me just tell you.
I'm going to a Culver's.
You've been missing out. For sure.
I will be at
for
one.
Sure. Yep.
At some point.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, next question. A couple questions because we got to really lead into these answers to our trivia questions.
Okay.
We've been rushing the past couple of weeks. Okay, Corey, a couple more questions for Coach.
All this Culver's talk, I'm pretty hungry, if I'm being honest. We got this question from Kevin Ryan. He said, how will joining the AAC affect the schedule for next season?
So the schedule that we had for the 2024 season has completely changed with the exception of Air Force and Navy. We'll play 8 conference games from the American. So we don't know who those 8 teams will be. There are 14 teams in the league. Is that correct? 14 teams?
Yes, there will be 14 next
14
year.
Including us. So of the other 13 teams, we will play 8 of those. Navy not included. So that is not considered a conference game. So 12 of those opponents will have 8. And so we'll find that out probably a month or 2 or a few down the road. Who the other non-conference games will be, we're not certain. A lot of that's going to have to do with what the conference schedule looks like, what weekends are open. But that's the job of Mike Buddy, and he's handling that. And he did a great job of navigating this for us, along with General Gilland, and they'll set the schedule, and we'll be prepared to play that next year. But obviously, other fish to fry right now.
And for Army fans who have expected, and it's been the past few years, as an independent, Army was releasing its next year's schedule in November or December. That's just simply not going to be the case with the American. And as Jeff said, and Mike Oresco, the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference, said, and what the American did in the offseason was they announced opponents for the next 3 years for each of their teams. With SMU leaving the league, Army coming in, they're going to have to adjust that a little bit. So at the very least, next year's opponents will be released in about the next month, maybe even the next 3 years of opponents, but the actual schedule will not be codified until February, March, around there. So just for your timing as an Army football fan, folks, see the schedule, tickets, reunions, those kind of things. The timing is just going to be a little different than what we've expected the past couple of years. Next question for Coach Monken.
All right, Coach, this is the age-old question. Year over year, we have to know, everyone needs to know, what was the Monken family for Halloween?
Oh, wow. Okay, so we had an angel.
Nice.
Which was great. We you know what? I'm embarrassed to say I don't know what my other one went as. She went to this Halloween celebration and trick-or-treating, and then they had a big shaving cream fight. So
You couldn't tell what she was when she came back.
She looked like a snowman. She had shaving cream everywhere.
So snow angel will say
perhaps. And one went as a college student, so she's hopefully she was studying and doing all that, which I'm sure she was. I'm
big
sure
study night, Halloween.
Yeah, you betcha.
Corey, great job on the wireless.
I went as a coach. I wore my Army gear and.
Yep. I like that, Jeff.
I didn't make it out much. We had a late practice, and I rushed over, and we got a couple minutes of trick or treating at the end. That was all I got.
Look, we moved the coach's show a half an hour later. You're doing what has to be done in Air Force Week.
Yep.
Will you practice out there Friday?
We will.
What will you do Friday?
We will. So Friday we'll actually practice at the University of Colorado.
Oh, nice.
So we've got an opportunity to do that.
Will you see Coach Prime?
I don't have any idea. They got a home game. I'm sure he'll have business to take care of. But I'm hoping to see Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator, is a good friend of mine.
Nice. And that, I know, as you say, you're rooting for them every game. How can you not root for Coach Prime?
No doubt. It's great. He's great for college football, and I'm really enjoying watching them.
Amazing for college football. Okay, Jeff, thank you everyone for participating in this week's Trivia Challenge. A reminder, each week we'll have a new winner for 4 tickets to Coastal Carolina. Keep watching for your chance to win. First question, who was reelected as President of the United States 3 days after Army defeated number 19 Air Force on November 4th, 1972?
It had to be Richard Nixon because it was 1972.
Yorba Linda, California is where his presidential library is. 2 years ago, Army defeated Air Force in the first ever overtime game in the series, 21-14. Who broke up Hazik Daniels' game-tying touchdown pass?
Number 4, Jabari Moore.
One of the great moments.
Yes.
In the last 10 years of Army football history. Army's played Air Force 6 times on November 4th. What's Army's all-time record on this date?
You got to tell me. I don't know.
4-2.
Okay.
Well, it's a good omen leading into Saturday. And with Army and Air Force being played at Mile High, marks just the 4th time this rivalry has been played on an NFL field. When was the last time? What stadium was it?
You had to tell me. My hometown, Chicago, Soldier Field.
1965. We'd like to thank Steve Tucker putting everything together from Army West Point Sports Properties, keeping us on the air at the station. Tony, Skyler, and Jimmy on site. Ryan Panny pressing all the right buttons. We'd like to thank Colonel John Baskerville joining us. For Corey Younghands, Army head coach Jeff Monken. Rich DeMarco saying so long. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.